It is Wednesday. It is Ask Anything Parking with me, Andrea. Thank you for joining us. Now, before I go into the topic for today, I just wanted to give a shout out to all the content creators out here that go on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and they create content to make us laugh, to inform us. And I just really commend you because this could be hard at times. You know, you have your regular life that you're living. You might have frustrations at work or your business, even in your home, right? But you continue to provide content for us. So I just want to commend you and let you know how much I appreciate you because I realize that it can be a lot of work. And but anyway, just wanted to say that. So that being said, again, thank you. Today we are talking about um, um, parking. Is parking impossible? And if it is, why are there so many empty spaces? Okay, so you here's something that is strange. Their drivers say there's no parking, but in most cities, there are thousands of empty spaces sitting unused every single day. So, which one is true? Is there no parking or there's no connection? So, have you ever circled the block for 20 minutes looking for parking only to later notice an empty lot, an unused driveway, or a half empty garage just a few steps away? I know I have. I know I have. So, and it's been frustrating at times. I'm like, wow, it'd be nice if I could just park here and I could just, get to my house in 2 minutes in a 2 minute walk. So, yes, I have. So the contradiction is what I call the parking paradox. And tonight we're breaking it down. So, for years, we have been told, and I've told myself this, that there's a parking shortage, right? But transportation research and urban planning studies show something different. In many cities, the issue isn't total supply, it's visibility, it's fragmentation, it's connection. Because here's what's happening at the same time: drivers are circling and parking spaces are sitting empty. That's not a shortage, that is a disconnect. So what's really going on? Parking demands have changed. We're no longer living in a strict 9 to 5 commuter world. I mean, right now, people are able to work from home 2 or 3 times out of the week. Some people have to go back to work 5 days a week. I feel your pain. I get it. But some get to stay home and 2 or 3 days out of the week, and they don't have to drive into the city every day, right? So that's the shift. And then also demand for event parking, right? People are looking for parking when they go into an event. Different, places are popping up in different locations. So the demand for parking is increasing because there's events that's happening at those particular areas, in those particular areas. And weekend based, like I said, a lot of people are not coming into the city probably during the week, right? But they actually might be coming in during the weekend. And then there's this hyper local business, hyper local, which I was like, what is hyper local? And it's like, oh, hyper local is when there's like a concentration on parking in one particular area, which could be a block, it can be a venue, it can be a stadium, right? So, for example, it could be Barclays Center, right? Or people who's from Brooklyn, they know that, right? So, so that being said, that's when the demand shift, right? Spaces that are invisible digitally becomes invisible economically. So an empty parking space, whether it's in a garage, behind a storefront, or in a private driveway is perishable inventory. Perishable. Meaning that once that hour passes, that revenue opportunity is gone forever. Right? So value is leaking every single day on your space. So let's look at things from a driver's perspective, because I'm a driver, right? I don't have space, but I'm a driver, and it does feel chaotic. You assume garages are full, which, be full or expensive, right? You assume lots are private, which some of them are. They are private, right? And you assume driveways aren't available. And sometimes they're not available because, they're not open for other people to use but the homeowner, right? So you circle, which I have, you stress, which I have, and you gamble, which I have. But many times space exists, but you just can't see it, right? Be honest. How many minutes have you wasted this month looking for parking? Drop a number in the chat. Like, I can't drop a number in the chat, but I can tell you that I've wasted at least 30 minutes in one day looking for parking. And that's like maybe 3 times out of the week. So you calculate 3 times out of the week times that by 3 times 30, 90 times 4, 9, 18, about 360 minutes. I done wasted a month looking for parking. Probably more, but I'm just being very generous right now. So now let's flip it to if you own a driveway, if you own a small business with a lot that's empty after 6 p.m. If you operate a garage with fluctuating occupancy, right? You might be sitting on underutilized space. So, and here's the math most people never calculate, right? If one space can earn $30 during a 3-hour event, and what happens just twice a week, right? What if it happens twice a week? That can, how much is that? 30, 60 times 4, 6, 12, $240, I think. I might be wrong there. I don't have my calculator in front of me. I'm not good at math. But it could be over $200 a month in your pocket, right? And that's from something that's just already sitting there. And so there's no construction that's needed, right? There's no expansion needed on your space. There's no new real estate, just visibility. Parking isn't just infrastructure, it's untapped microeconomics. I like that word, microeconomics. So when I say parking is broken, I don't mean we're out of space. I mean the system isn't connecting what already exists to real-time demand. Parking isn't broken because we're out of space. Parking is broken, because the space isn't connected to demand, and it isn't visible or accessible when people need it. So the gap creates stress on one side. That's my side. Parking is stressful. And lost income on the other. So the gap is where value is leaking. And that's where opportunity lives. So the next time someone says there's no parking, which probably will be me on a stressful day when I can't find parking, look around. Look around. Is there really no space? Or is it just invisible? And if you have parking space that sits unused at certain times of the day, residential or commercial, you might be closer to opportunity than you think. So because connection changes everything, and listen, this conversation is just getting started. So that's what I wanted to talk about today on Ask Anything Parking. So listen, if you like what we talk about, listen, hit that like, that little thumbs up. That'll really help us out. And if you have anything that you would like us to talk about when it comes to Ask Anything Parking on Wednesdays, please put it in the comments. We're open to have conversations. And subscribe. Hit that little bell button, that little bell, and subscribe to us. And share, like share with anyone. If you know anyone who has a space, who has a garage, who has a storefront with parking space in the back or home, share this with them. Have them join us. Okay, thank you again for joining us today on Wednesdays, which is Ask Anything Parking. Again, thank you so much and have a blessed evening. Take care.